Hi, I'm Linda May, and I am a reader for Crystal Magic Psychic Center in Sedona, Arizona, beautiful Sedona. And I'm here today to talk to you about this full moon period that we are beginning in the morning on December 4th at 4:14 p.m. and that's Mountain Standard Time at this time. And that means it would be full on December 4th at 6:14 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and wherever you are, you can adjust your times accordingly. This is known specifically as the cold moon, and it is the final full moon of the year. This is a time when the weather has actually turned chilly in many places, and it's a reminder that winter is coming. It's a time of renewal and rededicating yourself to your goals and your values and also your sense of peace. So it's also known as the frost moon and sometimes the snow moon because of the time of year it is and because it really is the one that's bringing us into the winter season, which I'll be talking about in a bit. So cold moon it is, and yes, it is getting chillier for sure. Luckily, we're only in the 40s and 50s, and actually this week we've had a couple of days in the 60s, so it hasn't been too bad. We do have a full moon when the sun and moon are considered in opposition, and astrologically this means that the sun and moon are in opposing signs. And at the time of this full moon, the sun is in Sagittarius and the moon is in Gemini, exactly opposed the sun on December 4th at 4:14 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, as I mentioned. The Gemini energy of the moon manifests in a need for change and spontaneity. People tend to be more communicative and they speak with more ease. The Sagittarian of the sun is more about the higher mind, and the Gemini moon is more about the lower mind. Sagittarius energy is more broad, and Gemini energy is quite comfortable in whatever the current environment is. Relationships are imminent at this time, yet it is important not to make quick decisions, but rather take some time to get a better understanding of ourselves and especially our desires. Aspect-wise, just before the full moon, Venus in Sagittarius and Pluto in Aquarius. So Venus is in Sagittarius, Pluto's in Aquarius, and they form a sextile which creates a space for intense togetherness and clarifying talks that help reach a new level of honesty. So really right in alignment with the communication of the moon and everything. And then the full moon opens the door for more communications, as we mentioned. So that's sort of like the beginning of it. A few days later, Mercury enters Scorpio and Jupiter in Cancer and Saturn in Pisces form a grand trine, and trines are always positive. So that's really cool. This brings in some ease and the ability to finish projects that you're working on. Family matters may also be settled more easily at this time. And Mercury enters Sagittarius on the 10th, which may bring in some restlessness and some unforeseen events. So that's about a little less than a week after the full moon. Set boundaries as needed with the people that you need to set them with. And on the 14th of December, Mars reaches its last degree of Sagittarius before it transitions into Capricorn. There may be a sense of a lack of energy during that transition. Do give yourself a break and take time to recharge. And then when Mars enters Capricorn, determination and discipline will return for you, which is really wonderful as you're setting goals for the year to come. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we are moving into the season of winter. It's the second of the 3 winter seasons. The first one was Samhain. And as of December 21st, the sun enters Capricorn, and we learn at that point to let go of that which doesn't serve us as we prepare to move on. It's a quiet time to explore the dark depths of our beings as we prepare for the rebirth of the sun and bring in the spark of the new sun child within us all. It actually is a really wonderful time to do that. It's a time to go within, and part of that is, when it's cold out, we need to probably stay home a little bit more, wrap ourselves in blankets and warm sweaters and all that kind of stuff. But it's really a good time to do your inner work too. So, and that's some ways that you can help create the goals for the year to come. So it's actually a really wonderful time to do this. And the traditional Celtic tree calendar, which is based on the moon cycles with the new year beginning at Samhain, which was the first of the winter seasons and the last of the autumn seasons, and that's on October 31st. It does have the tree for this period of the December moon cycle as pine. It's also known in Gaelic as Eiling, or silver fir, and this is the card, okay? And that's from this deck here, the Celtic Tree Oracle. And it's a time of foresight, higher perspectives, inner visions, higher dimensions, and insights. So actually, that's really part of the going within and looking at things and stuff. That's all leading to that. We more clearly see the big picture when we learn from our mistakes as we make new choices for a higher perspective. So that's what we have on our side during all of this, which is great. And now I'm going to draw, different cards from different decks. And the first one is the Druid Animal Oracle deck. It's my favorite deck, really. I love it. And this is all animals. But the messages are very, very deep, as I've mentioned before, and I really love them. So what we get is a beautiful, beautiful card. It's the Hind. So interestingly, the Hind stands for grace and beauty. So part of this is knowing that we are the light, knowing that light is constantly shining in us. And as it does that, it blesses us with the grace of the light of spirit, and as that's shining into us, we can share it with others. We can share that light with others at any time. I also think of her sometimes as the goddess or the divine mother, or however you want to see it, the divine feminine. She's just a beautiful, beautiful card, and she's always with us, and it's from a very much of a higher state of being. So this is actually part of what this winter is bringing us, part of what this time in this full moon is actually leading us to, which is wonderful. So yay, we like you. Thank you so much. Now she's called the Hind, but in America, she's known as a doe, and she's all white because she is walking between this world and the spirit world. So do keep that one in mind for sure. Now I'm gonna pull a card from the Druidcraft Tarot deck, this deck here. This is the one I do my daily pulls from. I post them on Facebook, really. That's the only place I post them, really. But it's kind of fun to do it every day, and I notice a lot of people share it, and it's kind of nice. And the messages are usually right on. It's amazing how much they are. So let's see what I get. I get the Princess of Swords. So the Princess of Swords actually has to do with what we were talking about with that Gemini energy in many ways. She's a very great communicator. She's really, really good about getting the message across to people and stuff like that. She's very diplomatic in her own way. She's, and it also has to do with like knowing the right way to be in relationships so that you have good communication skills with them and stuff like that. And there's a sense of ease in all of her communication. So that's right in alignment with what we were talking about with this Sagittarius Gemini energy. That's pretty cool. So Princess of Swords. And now from this Whispering Woods deck, this is the trees. They always have a very simple but usually deep message, just like the trees. They're rooted in the ground way, way down, and then they grow up to the sun. Interestingly, this one is caution. Caution. So here we have, the communication and all that here, and we have this beautiful light coming in. But as I mentioned, there are some aspects coming up that might, kind of trigger us a little bit. So this is probably for that time, and the message is tread softly so as not to disturb the woodland floor. So caution, tread softly so as not to disturb the woodland floor. So the cool thing about that is it means that sometimes we do have to watch ourselves and not be too impulsive in what we do and stuff like that. It does take a moment to center first. And that's part of what this is saying. And sometimes, even though we can have very lively communications with others, sometimes we do have to be careful about the way we say things. So this is just a reminder to do that, okay? And now the Sedona code, the Sedona Spirit Wind deck, this deck here. Beautiful, beautiful places in Sedona. And the message we get, this is really cool. This is Tlaquepaque, and boy, Tlaquepaque is like a major shopping center in Sedona, and it has a lot of amazing places in it, and the shopping is just amazing. And the message is, the best of everything is who I am. So that's part of the introspection that we can be doing and stuff like that, is thinking about that, because truly the best of who we are, the best of everything is who I am, is also what this is saying in its own way, because who we are is that kind of love and light that's constantly shining in. But it's interesting that Tlaquepaque, which has the best of everything in it, has that message for us to remember that within ourselves, okay? Now, the next card is from this Light Bearers deck. This one here, a group of angels that are coming in at this point in time to remind us how to awaken, which is really important because we're going through a lot these days, you know, in all kinds of ways in the world, if you look at this world all around us. So the fact that we have angels on our side helping us is great. And this time we get Angel Zadkiel. Angel Zadkiel. This is interesting because, it says, I'll show you. This is the card, okay? And it says, life seems unfair, but justice prevails when you look to your heart and act upon the inspiration of love. When you seek justice, I am here by your side until your concern is resolved. So interesting because both of these are sort of in alignment. They're talking about, you know, more of the negative aspects of this time that, you know, sometimes we do have to be cautious, take a moment. And sometimes, you know, we need to trust the process. I mean, basically that's what she's saying. You know, life seems unfair, but justice does prevail. So just act upon the inspiration of love, act upon your own inner knowing. And as you do that, the angels will be helping us to resolve whatever comes up, which is actually great when you're communicating freely and all that kind of stuff. So she's a great message to take into our hearts as we go through this. So I will be back before the new moon, which is actually on December 21st, which is also the day of the winter solstice. So that's going to be very interesting. But I will be talking to you more about that a little bit in advance, usually a week or so. And in the meantime, if you would like a psychic soul reading or a counseling session with me, you can do it in person by just walking in or setting an appointment on crystalmagicpsychiccenter.com. We also do appointments by Zoom and by phone. So if you can't make it to Sedona, too bad. But no, seriously, if you ever can, do. Or, you know, we can do it over the phone and all that kind of thing. And I am at Crystal Magic Psychic Center most Monday afternoons and Friday mornings, so that's something that you can keep in mind. Or you can go to crystalmagicpsychiccenter.com and see all of our readers. They have descriptions of all of us, and you can see who calls to you, and that's the one you should go to. So anyway, that would be wonderful if that's what you want. And I do want to wish you blessings of this full moon to you. It's actually, I think it's going to be a pretty good one. And I want you to remember, you are always loved.